Hi, welcome to PracticeEPR. In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to add new patients to the system, add details of their history, capture vitals, and even prescribe drugs to a patient. We see here I'm already on the Patient tab. And on this tab, I have a list of recent patients I've recently created in this case, and I want to add a new one. I'm just going to hit the New button. Okay. We see here we have some fields with a red flash by them. The fields with a red flash are mandatory. Also, some of the fields I may not be sure of why they're there, and there's a help icon next to them. Based on the language of your organisation, the labels will be translated into the language setting for your user. So different users may actually have different languages for their prompts on the field, or for the fields. Okay, let's start adding some information in. So my patient is Miss Sarah Wilson, and I'm going to choose to capture details about her address. Okay, and you can capture as much detail as you want. You notice here I have a text area which will scroll, and as I'm using the Chrome browser I can also resize that if I want to. Okay. The date of birth. The system does include an automatic date picker, but it's not very useful for entering dates of birth. I recommend typing dates in directly. Okay. And I'm also choosing to capture details about Sarah's blood group, but I may not know that yet. If one of Sarah's relatives on the system, I can add him or her using a next of kin button here, or I can just put some free text information here. So here I'm choosing to put details of maybe brother or something who's not yet a patient on the system. Okay, if I've got to, in this case, NHS number, I would put that in as well. Okay, the patient status is set to me automatically as registered. Once a patient leaves the practice, I can change the status, and you can adjust what values are appropriate for patient status here. If the patient has an email address, I can capture that as well. And we can use this to send the patient email reminders, if they so choose. In order to receive email reminders, they must have the receive email box checked on the screen. I can put their home phone number, and if I choose a mobile number as well. Again, if I'm using reminder emails or reminder SMSs, I need to check the correct box to enable that on this patient. So as I've put a mobile address in this case I'm going to say that I want that patient to receive an SMS. Pick the patient's gender, and you can add additional demographic fields if you want to. So here I'm going to put Sarah's job title in. I'm not going to capture her religion or ethnicity in this case. At the bottom here, I have a decision to make. If I'm a commercial organisation and I need to, or private practice, and I need to charge bills to this patient, then I need to choose whether they're going to pay their own bills, or whether they're part of an insurance scheme, for example. So I could either pick a insurance scheme for this patient, say Bupa, okay, or in this case, I'm going to pick that Sarah's going to pay her own bills. And this will automatically create a bill payer record for Sarah as a default. I can either save that now, or if I'm entering multiple patients at once, I can press save and new and come straight back to a new patient. Okay, that's Sarah's details saved, and I have a number of other choices. I can choose to upload a photo of Sarah. And I choose a file that I've already uploaded to my computer. I'm just going to pick any file for the sake of argument here. And upload that. Okay, we see here I've picked Albert Einstein as a photo. Not very appropriate, but I think you see the point of the exercise. Okay. So we see a summary of the information here that we've just entered. If I scroll down the page, we can see what these related lists are, and I'm going to talk about each one but only show you certain ones at the moment. When a patient presents for a new case, we create an episode using a SOAP methodology. And on that episode, we'll record things like lab tests, details, diagnosis, care plans, treatment plans, etc. I can also make appointments directly on this page. So I may want to make an immediate appointment for Sarah in this case. She's walked into my clinic, I've registered her, she's here now, and I created an appointment immediately. We're going to see more about this in the appointments tutorial. I may want to capture immediate vitals about Sarah though, especially height and weight, and just take some initial readings on registration. We're going to go ahead and do that in a second. I can also capture details of prescriptions. Either these are prescriptions that Sarah is already on from a previous practice, or it may be prescriptions that I need to make as a clinician now. I can record details of Sarah's allergies, which we'll see in a second, and immunisations she's had in the past, and ones I plan to give her in the future. I can also associate Sarah with other family members who are on the system if I want to. So rather than next of kin, these may be other family members that are also registered, so I can easily find across patients and look at patient history. Finally, I can add notes and attachments to the patient record as well. And there's two ways of doing that, which we'll see in a second. Okay, let's jump back up to patient vitals. Now, patient vitals are important if we're going to do any charting of the patients. Pick the current date, and pick the time when I took the readings, say midday. Put in details of Sarah's height, her weight, respiratory rate, heart rate, and blood pressure readings, and finally temperature. Okay. By using that information, the system's done some basic calculations, calculated her BMI, and calculated her ideal weight. If I go back to Sarah, I'm going to capture some more details. This time I want to capture details of her current allergies. Click the new allergy button, put in the name of the allergy and the severity. And in this case I'm going to record details of how exactly it affects her. Okay, and I can enter multiple allergies if she's unfortunate enough to have several. How about eczema as well? Okay, let's go back to our patient and look at some more information. We've done some allergies and we've done some vitals. Let's also try and link some family members as well. When I say new family member, I'm not registering another patient. I'm just finding who this patient is related to and putting that relationship in. We do not automatically play patient relationships in both ways. So if I add someone as the father, then she's not automatically added to them as their daughter. The reason for doing that is purely around patient confidentiality, and some patients may want to be associated and some may not. Okay, I'm going to say that Sarah is related to John Smythe here just for ease of entry. Okay. And you could use this information as part of your practice for things like allowing other family members to collect prescriptions on behalf of the patient, or to make appointments for them. I also want to add some notes to this record. So maybe I've got some history here. Rather than take this in an episode which has no treatment plan, I just want to take some details. So I'm going to say that Sarah has previously been under the care of Dr. Edwards at the Heath Road surgery. She's had no major operations. and has been in general good health. Now, if I had a referral form or something, or information from Dr. Edwards' surgery, I could attach that to the system rather than type the notes in. Okay, and I could also upload files to here. So in the same way, I could attach a file of a scan or something. Okay. The other way I can do that information is I can use the chatter feature. Now, the chatter feature is interactive, maintaining a log of information about changes on an individual record, in this case a patient. I can link to information that exists either on a website, okay, or I can attach a file to the system. And for the sake of argument, I'm just going to re-upload the photo of Albert Einstein we saw earlier and share that information. Okay, now at the moment we just see a generic icon. The system's just uploading that image and it's going to shrink it down to fit within the display here. And when I come back and look at this in a few seconds, we'll see that's updated and displaying a mini image. Now, if you imagine this could be a photo of a scan or an injury or a wound, it's extremely useful to capture during things like episodes. Okay, just refreshing the page and then we see the photos being rendered. Okay, one more thing we're going to show. We're going to hide the chatter and we're going to do a quick prescription while we're on this page. To do a new prescription, I find the drug that I want to prescribe, search for it in the system, and I can use wildcards of asterisks to search through matching anything with the word amox, either starting in the middle or at the end. Here I see the different types of amoxicillin we have, and I'm going to choose the right dosage that I want, the right pack size. I also have here an indicator of the stock levels, so I may not want to prescribe something that's not in stock and take the nearest alternative that's available, in this case some capsules. If I've set up drug dosages as well, I can pick those as well. Here there's no drug dosages available. If there was, you'd typically see something like an adult, child dose or a chronic, acute dosage. So instead of already picking a preset dose, I can enter the dose information below here. So I'm going to say how many need to be taken, 2 tablets, for how many days, 7 days, and how many times per day it needs to be taken, 3 times per day. I'm not going to set this up as a repeat prescription, but I could do so. So I might be capturing here a prescription that Sarah's already on from a previous surgery, or I might be prescribing something immediately based on some information. Normally this would be related to an episode of care. Okay. If that drug was a controlled drug, the status of it would be changed to awaiting approval. And then I could submit that drug for approval, and my pharmacist or senior clinician would be the person to approve that drug. In this case, the drug amoxicillin is not controlled and therefore does not need approval before it can be dispensed. Thanks very much. That completes the demo of the patient records.